Hi, I can't sleep, and that's because I've got a lot of stuff going on in my mind, and it's not very good that there's a reflection in my glasses. Anyway, take those off. Yep, so I can't sleep, and I've just rambled on for 20 seconds about not being able to sleep in my glasses because that's where I'm at. And I can't sleep because even though I'm tired, I've still got my necklace on. Idiot. Anyway, I had my last Writing to Heal workshop tonight with some people that are amazing. And we were discussing a whole range of triggers because last week we focused on shame and how that occurs from trauma and how we must heal that and strategies, all that sort of stuff. And tonight was sort of a follow on from that, which was an interesting one to facilitate, because you never know when you're running a workshop. You've got to go with where people guide you to in terms of themselves, so it's always very different. And no, you don't even need to know that. Why am I stalling? We were talking about the impact of sexual abuse and focusing specifically again on my favourite person at the moment, Bettina Arndt, and the order that she received, or the medal or whatever it's called, that I have huge issues with. And we were sort of all talking about that, and one of the reasons I have huge issues with her receiving that medal is because it's all well and good to say that pedophiles or abusers or rapists deserve a second chance. I am the first person, not necessarily the first, but one of the people who agree that all people deserve to have chances in life. My final writing piece for my master's was a novella telling the story of a pedophile from the perspective of the pedophile, and trying to understand, had to do a lot of research and listen to a lot of pedophiles and read a lot of pedophiles' accounts of why they did what they did and the things that led to it. And so I tried to create a compassionate exploration of how someone gets to that point where they believe that behaviour is acceptable and that they have the right to do that to another human being. And so it incorporated a lot of different reasons there, and I had to come up with reasons for my protagonist. At any rate, ended up telling the story in from three perspectives: his perspective, his niece's perspective, and his wife's perspective. And it was I think it's interesting. It's a very hard read. It's very confronting. It's not easy. But I tried to come to an understanding of that based on my own experiences. I think it's always important when we're healing from something to see the other side, the other perspective, and that was important for me to do it. Anyway, moving along, because I really am rambling and I didn't want this to be forever. I just wanted it to be a quick one. So it becomes really apparent that, yes, whilst people deserve second chances, victims of sexual abuse, victims of rape, victims of sexual harassment don't get that same second chance. I used to, when I was a teacher and kids were bullying one another, I would grab a plain piece of paper, and it was something I'd read on the internet years and years ago, and I would say to them, look how pristine this is. This is what we're all like when we're born. And then as someone says something negative or something bad happens, I creased a little bit of the paper and I said, and that's what happens. And then I said, and if you keep getting that and keep getting that, then you become really, really creased and wrinkled. And I said, and even if we straighten that piece of paper out, the wrinkles may fade, they may become less than, but they're still always there. And that is a great analogy as well for this. I have been actively healing my sexual abuse triggers and trauma for so fucking long now. It's not funny, but really intensely in the last year or so. And that's a lie, probably for years before that. But it gets easier. Having said that, the triggers are still there and my responses to them are there. And I was saying to the people tonight that 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, I went and had some therapy done, sat with my inner girl, and did not realise that I became triggered by that, and that all of a sudden I started steamrolling, and I was putting things in place for dealing with the small parts of that, but it really hit a place where this time what I felt was the lack of love for myself. And so there was a lot of self-loathing, and I really didn't like myself very much. And when I get like that, I start kamikazing everything around me. And this time, however, I was doing it quite logically and rationally, and so that even makes it a little bit worse because it's really messed up. And it's only looking back now that I trace the events of the last, say, 10 days and go, oh my God, I didn't even realize. And it's important to be aware and conscious, and usually I am, and I'm fully cognizant of what's going on around me and within me. And this time I wasn't, because my self-loathing took over. I will live with that for the rest of my life. It's not to say it will impact every day of the rest of my life. Today I really like myself. Yesterday I really liked myself. The day before that I really liked myself. It was only for a few days that I really didn't. And I was making decisions based on my own lack of love for myself. So my next healing part is to really focus on loving myself and becoming conscious of how other people see me. Like, I received a compliment from a client tonight, much earlier tonight, from my tutoring business, and he's quite a hard taskmaster, the daddies, and he praised me and acknowledged that the work I'd been doing with their child, he perceives is what resulted in their child getting very decent grades in English. Always room for improvement, and I struggled to receive that. As I always do whenever anyone compliments me for anything, I struggled to receive that. I know I'm a phenomenal teacher, but me knowing it and you telling me it are two completely different things. And if someone else validates that, I struggle to receive it. That is a direct result of the trauma I endured in childhood. I will live with that and be working consciously on seeing myself for who I really am for the rest of my life. I am blessed that I am intelligent enough and able enough and emotionally stable enough, most of the time, to be able to sit with this and go, okay, you haven't done too much damage, it's all okay, you can move forward. There are people who have not had the same blessings, who have been through similar things, and it's not fair. It's not fair when people like Bettina get up and say, everyone deserves a second chance. Schoolgirls shouldn't be throwing themselves at their male teachers, shaming victims. It's not right. Her receiving that award has acted as part of a trigger for a lot of abuse victims, and you can see that on all of the boards across Facebook. As a society, we're accountable for that. We are only as strong as our weakest people in society, and we all deserve to be strong. We need to be building each other up. We cannot create a community when there is this much division. And in this case, she just doesn't deserve the award. Have a good night. I'm going to go to sleep.